What's my favorite thing in the world? No, it's not melted cheese. That was a good guess. What's my favorite thing in the world? Myself, and being right, and being able to say, I told you so. That's why we called the show I'm Right. You see, I take a real special joy in standing up and making it all about me. No, all right, seriously. Do you remember when I made this little prediction about Joe a while back? I think the powers that be are tired of Joe Biden, frustrated with him, and I think this entire thing is a coordinated effort to get Joe Biden to resign after the midterms. Man, that guy's awesome. Anyway, you do remember when I said that, right? Well, it's beginning. Here's Brian Stelter.
Why?
What about Hunter? Hunter under federal investigation. Charges could be coming at any time. This is not just a right-wing media story. This is a real problem for the Bidens. Could he decide not to run for re-election, given his son?
Look, they make decisions as a family, and they will make that decision when it's time.
Weird they're asking those questions, especially on reliable sources. It's weird, right? Well, look, here's what I think's going on. I see it, clear as day. They're going to get massacred in the midterms. And what's that old great JFK quote? And he may have stolen it from someone else, I don't know. But JFK quote, victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. Look, whenever your party wins and you take back a bunch of seats or you win the presidency, everyone's a good guy, right? And everyone's awesome and everything's awesome and she's awesome and he's awesome. When you take a massacring at the polls, which I believe they're going to do in November, you start looking around for people to blame, and you tend to panic about the next election. Because remember, president's coming up in 2024. Look, people like Dick Blumenthal are basically admitting they know a massacre is coming.
Do you think President Biden is the best candidate in 2024?
I'm going to be very blunt and very honest with you. My focus is totally on this November, partly because I am running for re-election, but also I think this November is going to determine how successful President Biden is in the next 2 years and how strong he would be as a candidate.
Ooh. Talk about passive aggressive. Well, I mean, we'll see how we do in the midterms. Oh, in case that wasn't enough, here's a Democrat strategist essentially sounding like me, only not as cool.
Now, will he run? Honestly, no one knows. I wouldn't want to bet on it. But if you force me to bet on it, I would be in the minority and bet that he won't run. I think we'll lose the House. Dems will lose the House. But I don't think that Dems will lose the Senate. But if they do, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of pressure on Biden to pass the torch.
You see, it's all about power. It's all about power for these people. And if they think Joe Biden is holding them back from using it, gaining more of it, they're going to shove Joe Biden out the door. They never cared about Joe Biden. It's politics. They don't care about anybody. They certainly didn't care about Papa Joe. Remember, they only talked him into running the race because they were steering at Rear Admiral Buttigieg and Dome and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie, and they thought to themselves, geez, we're going to get slaughtered in the midterms if we run one of these nutballs. So they went and got Joe out of the old folks' home and handed him some note cards to read off of and tried to run him for president. Well, that's all fine and good, but if he's not performing or if you think he's holding you back, they're going to run him out the door. After the midterms, they're going to run Joe Biden out the door. I believe it all the way. These people are not going to look at 2024 and try to roll that cadaver out there again to run against whoever the Republican nominee turns out to be. Trump, DeSantis, whoever it is, they're not doing it. They're not going to risk it. Old Joe's going to be shoved out the back, and you watch. We won't hear about this for years till it leaks out. They're going to use this Hunter Biden stuff against Joe. They're going to sit down Papa Joe and tell him, hey, we can give Hunter Biden a slap on the wrist, or we can send Hunter Biden to federal prison. Why don't you resign and we'll make sure it's the former and not the latter. You watch. That's how it works.